The Chicago Cubs are World Series champions, and if you're a Cubs fan, it must be a great feeling. If you're a true Cubs fan, not saying if you're a Cubs fan that you are a bandwagon, but we all know there are. You know, there are a bunch of bandwagon Golden State fans, a bunch of bandwagon Patriots fans, Alabama fans, the best team in each sport. And this year was the Cubs, so I know there's going to be a few bandwagon Cubs fans. But if you were a true fan, I know a good amount. Since you were born, I guess, which is tough considering their history. Sorry about it being dark, and my face is probably real bright. But I'm supposed to be in bed. Because obviously this game ran late. This game almost went to midnight. I point back there because the TV's back there. You can't see, but they just gave the trophy to the owner, I believe. You may think I was going against the Cubs here in my Cardinals jersey. Not the case. Sorry about that. I frankly don't care who really won. I was going for the Indians just because the Cardinals fan of me couldn't really root for the Cubs, but I couldn't bring myself to root against a team that hadn't won it in so long. And obviously the Indians haven't won in a while either. About 50 years almost. But, or is it over 50 years? It's over 50 years, I believe. 176 years combined, these teams have not won a championship. And so that's obviously quite a long time for each of them. I'm just going to go through the game. It does say post-game analysis in the video, so I will try to get to that. I don't have stuff written down like I normally do. I don't have stats. I do know Fowler had 3 hits, Schwarber had 3 hits because I mentioned that. I watched the entire game, which I'll admit when normally I'm watching baseball games, I will flip kind of back and forth or maybe have it muted on the background and be watching something on my iPad or be on Twitter while it's happening, Instagram, whatever. But I fully watched this game. The only time I ever got on my phone was to text my dad because he couldn't watch the game. He just had to listen to it. So I was telling him, that Lindor, the Fowler soft line drive at the middle that Lindor made the great play on, I believe in the 9th inning to top another 9th to hold the runner Jason Hayward, who advanced on the bad throw from Yan Gomes, got into third, to stop him from scoring. Great play there. I called him about that. It was great play to see. Because if you're listening to it, they're just going to say, oh, hit up the middle. Oh, great play with the shortstop, So that's basically the only time that I was on my phone because this was a great game. This was the second best game I have ever watched live or on TV either. I haven't been to too many games live, and the ones I have been to, only a couple have really been interesting, I guess. But this was the second best game, only to the 2011 Game 6 of the World Series. Haven't seen that. My opinion, the best game in baseball history, just because of how much was on the line. And this game is second best, and it could be second best on the all-time list. I doubt it, but it's going to be on the all-time list. I mean, this is a World Series game that went into extra innings. That's a rare occasion. And the Indians fought. The Indians, they fought. I mean, that's basically what you have to say. The Cubs are the best team in baseball. I do want to say I think the Indians are the best managed team in baseball. I think Terry Francona is the best manager in baseball. I think Joe Madden is top 3, easily. He's probably number 2, but there's also a few arguments you could throw in other coaches in that discussion as well. So I'm not going to... Both of them are at least top 5. Probably both. I'm saying both of them are top 3. I believe Terry Francona is the best coach in baseball right now. He just knows who to put in, where to put people in. I do think it kind of came back to bite him when he didn't have a pinch hitter for the last hitter in the game. They said that the bench was cleared. All they had were pitchers left. So you obviously don't want to put a pitcher in to hit, especially because you're an American League team, so your pitchers don't normally hit. So you kind of want a guy who hadn't really had too many at-bats. I believe he only had a home run and 4 RBIs and a 238 average. So hadn't really had too many opportunities to show if he was really good, but it would have been crazy if he had done something. Cubs side of the ball, Schwarber is looking like he could be one of the best hitting catchers. I mean, I don't want to say ever, because obviously we've only seen glimpses. He has to stay healthy. I'm not trying to say as Cubs fans, but he's not great in the field, and if he really wants to be on a team That's gonna like he's gonna probably be a DH if he's not on the Cubs. If he goes to an American League team, he'll be a DH. Now when he's on the Cubs, they may put him in the outfield, they may put him a catcher, but he's not a great fielder. And if you're a Cubs fan, you admit that. You've seen it. He's not a great fielder, but he is a great hitter. He's a phenomenal hitter. Being able to come back from, I believe, like around 6 months after being injured, battling back and not having, like only like 12 at bats in the Arizona League. Sorry, I just got an alert from that LeBron sent some message to Cleveland or something. That you guys have something to look forward to. This kid is hitting as good as Buster Posey. When Buster Posey was, I guess, really in his prime, you could say. And he's not even, Kyle Schwarber hasn't even been catching that much. So he could be in the league longer than most catchers. Most catchers wear off because the job of catching, bending down, knees, back, it hurts most of your body. Anthony Rizzo, I love the guy. Even as a Cardinals fan, I absolutely love the guy. You've probably seen the video by now of him talking to the umpire, saying that that was my fault. I shouldn't have argued with you about that call. That's just classy. That's a very, very good class act. They had him mic'd up again, and he was like, "I'm at a glass box of emotions," and he's great. Really, really like Anthony Rizzo. Chris Bryant made the final out. Really, really love Chris Bryant. Javier Baez made 2 errors in the game, but got a run back with a home run. I've seen him play live. I've actually seen the Cubs play live. I should go ahead and probably mention that. But I've seen Javier Baez in AAA. I went to the Nashville Sounds game versus the Iowa Cubs, obviously, and that kid swings the bat harder than. I say kid. I'm younger than them, but he swings the bat harder than anyone I'd ever seen live. Because he was trolling his body around, which I know you're supposed to, keep your weight back, everything like that. But this kid, when he went to swing, he swung and missed. I would like to say that, and all the Sounds fans, were like, oh, because he missed the ball. But the bat. You could hear the bat. You could see the bat. Ben Zobrist was named World Series MVP. I probably agree with that. He was batting almost 350. He could be postseason MVP too. He had a really nice postseason as well, but definitely a really, really good World Series. Who else? David Ross, great way for him to go out. Very, very happy for him and his family, I guess. I'm not really sure how to put that. I don't know. I mean, I'm happy for him and that he gets now to go to his family and say he's now won a championship and with Cleveland. John Lester, happy for him. Jason Hayward can go die in a pit. I'm just joking. I don't like Jason Hayward. I'm going to be completely honest with you as a Cardinals fan. Kind of hurt going to a division rival. And it kind of just makes you realize the whole KD situation, that when everyone was accusing him of being like a big bandwagon, if you don't follow NBA, Kevin Durant joined the Warriors. And just kind of he joined the best team just so he could win a championship. You kind of realize when you look back, a bunch of players do this. Hayward being a prime example. Now, I'm not calling out Hayward or anything like that, but you have to admit, first off, I didn't know he signed to an 8-year contract. If you're a Cubs fan, that would scare me. Because if you get the production you did the entirety of this year where he got benched, and the postseason where he had like a 3-hit game, and that's about it. Like, he had a 3-hit game, I believe, in the World Series, and then no other hits. He didn't have a hit on the road in like 20-something straight games. He was terrible. But I did, I watched a little bit of the post game before I went to take a shower, and I did see that apparently during the rain delay he called the team together, which I also think is a class act. Even though you've had a terrible postseason, you're still rallying your team. Really, really good job there. Arrieta, didn't see much of him. Thought maybe he had a chance to pitch. Didn't. But he had a pretty good postseason. Pretty good Game 6, I believe, and Game 2? Did they lose Game 2 or win Game? I don't remember if they won Game 2 or not. I know obviously they won Game 6, but who else for the Cubs should I talk about? Aroldis Chapman. There's obviously questions around Aroldis Chapman. some character issues, I guess you could say, with obviously all the suspension, the sexual assault charges, everything like that. Um, but seeing him cry on national television, um, kind of just goes to show that these players are putting their all in, because he blew the game for him. I mean, let's be real. Although I would like to say it's not his fault. If I'm Joe Madden, why use him in the last game, and especially use him for 40 pitches? Maybe put him out there for 10, and then bring in someone new. You had a huge lead last game, and I understand not wanting to blow that lead, but bring in Chapman when it's a closer game, and then you could have had him for today, and you probably could have won this game in 9 innings. But instead, he obviously blew the game. He thought, there's a good chance of losing. Because Indians had the momentum. Rain delay kind of slowed down the momentum. Cubs, the veterans, Jason Hayward, basically is what I'm trying to say, stepped up, led the team back, even though he didn't really have anything to do with it. Led the team together, and they came back and won, and it was a fantastic game to watch. Addison Russell, 6 RBIs in the game before, World Game 6. I thought he had a chance of being named World Series MVP as well. If I was gonna have to pick a person, but could also be Rizzo. I mean, I don't know. I thought honestly a pitcher would probably run it. I agree with Zobrist being the guy, because he obviously came up with the clutch hit today, and he just really hit well. But I also thought Lester could have won it. Kendrick. Well, okay, let's talk more about this. Why did they take out Kendrick so early? Definitely disagreed with that. Lester pitched fantastic. I took out Kendrick after a missed call by the umpire, which I would like to say home plate umpire was a little off today. For both sides. Not saying he called one way but pitches in the strike for the Indians. Yeah, Indians pitcher, ball. There's one with Andrew Miller. Then on the other side, Kendrick, pitch inside the zone, ball. I mean, I ended up taking out Kendrick, putting in Lester. Lester had that pass ball situation, but after that he was phenomenal. Then I believe he let up like a bloop single, or not a bloop single, like a dribbler single. And then Chapman came in. We all know that if you watch the game, you know the rest of the story. Ties it up, goes to extras. Probably are my dog, and I got a text. I guess that's all I really have to say. Congratulations if you're a Cubs fan. I'm excited to be a person to be alive, I guess, to witness something that a century of people who have lived before me could not witness, which is seeing the Cubs win a World Series. And it's pretty awesome, to be completely honest. Best of luck to the Indians next year. They are a very, very well put together team. They don't really have a single star or stars. I mean, Lindor is becoming a star. Kipnis is a star. I mean, but they're not stars. Chris Bryant, Rookie of the Year, MVP candidate. Anthony Rizzo, MVP candidate. The pitching core. Is that what pitching core for the Cubs. All MVP candidates. Frankly, Arrieta maybe not, but Lester and Kendrick, as well as the bullpen. They had Chapman. Kyle Schwarber, Addison Russell, Javi Baez as a young middle infield for the Cubs. If you're the Cubs, you guys have a lot to look forward. If you're the Indians, just keep doing what you're doing. The small ball does work. Believe it or not, you don't always have to hit the home run to win the game. And, I mean, that's the way Terry Francona manages. He'll bunt a guy over. He did to put the runner on second, or to put the runner on third, I believe. That eventually scored the tying run to make it 1-1 in the third inning. Because that's the type of play he plays. And if you're the Indians, you cannot be upset with this loss. Only thing, there's not really much I could say. You obviously would have hoped Kluber would have done a little better, but you couldn't really ask him to. He had pitched 3 games in a matter of 8-9 days, so not really his fault either. Same with Chapman. Madden's asking a little too much of him, but that's kind of why they're that top player. But eventually, that's the lack of stamina or lack of rest is going to catch up to him. Same with Andrew Miller. He didn't have a great outing today. Cody Allen looked really good. There's so much I could talk about. It looks like they're still talking talking to Terry Francona. May unmuted here. I know this wasn't really a great post game analysis. I could talk about like statistics, but I kind of was sharing my opinion. If you're an if you're an Indiana fan, I wouldn't be upset. How can you be upset at a team that legitimately